The whole Cutter Gauthier situation is getting out of hand now. Some Flyers fans dropped to a new low as they made t-shirts, signs. Also, the sign being upside down seems very fitting, and they also paid for tickets to boo and throw things on the ice at a college hockey game. All because a 19-year-old wanted to make a decision that he felt best for his career. Hope they enjoyed the show he put on.
Gauthier sets up, Jelvik now, Gauthier scores!
Ducks fans know the feeling of a player not wanting to play for their organization. It happened with Justin Schultz in 2012 when he left us high and dry and we got nothing for him. It also happened with Henry Trun when he told us a few weeks before the deadline he wasn't going to sign, and we were able to trade him for a third rounder. So while this whole situation sucks, going on a kid's socials and giving him death threats is too far. The fact is, he told the Flyers organization he wasn't going to sign with them after last year's World Juniors, giving them a whole year to figure it out. He gave the organization a shot for a whole year. He attended development camp after he was drafted. He said positive things about Torts.
First story I have of him was this past summer at development camp. Everyone's just walking right by him. He's talking to a couple other staff members or whatever it may be. I moved the staff member guy out of the way and I was like, hey, Cutter Gauthier, it's really nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to playing for you soon. He's like, yeah, I love that. It's great to meet you too. And I was sitting there like,
whoa.
It's nice to meet you too.
Your face breaking your hand.
I'm glad you're that pumped to meet me.
Just big energy right out the gate. And you're like, all right, Torts. Hey.
All right, sweet. Let's do it. Let's go.
He gave them a chance, but there were multiple reoccurring issues from his time with the Flyers that he could not move forward with. So just like any other job, he made a choice that was best for him with the little power he has. And all of these type of Flyers fans are proving him right in his choice. People want to get mad at him for ghosting the organization, which is wrong, but that is literally today's generation. How many stories have you heard of kids stopping showing up for work? I would be remiss if that didn't scare me a little about his character. But the truth is, we don't know if it was his agent or the people around him telling him to do this. Agents are the one who do everything when it comes to contract negotiations. So we'll have to wait for him to come to Anaheim to see the true story. And yes, he is signing with the Ducks. There is no way Verbeek makes this trade without some sort of guarantee, and he will sign and play this year. So look out mid-March, because it's going to be cutthroat. The Flyers organization said that they wanted to keep his trade request quiet to protect him.
And the reason why we didn't want to say anything was not to hide anything from our great fans. It was to try to protect the kid.
And props to them for doing that very well, because no one saw this coming. But in the same breath, saying they wanted to protect him, they have also put out an all-out press storm to say he didn't want to be a Flyer. That enables this type of behavior. I get that you want to let your fans know what's going on when you trade one of your top prospects, but saying you're quiet at first because you want to protect the kid, then going on a smear campaign to the media seems hypocritical.
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall.
I don't know if I've seen an entire organization publicly issue an FU to a player immediately after a trade, quite like the one Flyers gave Cutter. Maybe the thing that's even more shocking than the trade itself is that almost every single person in a position of leadership in the Flyers organization rushed to the microphone after the trade happened to make it clear they didn't want to trade Cutter. He didn't want to be a Flyer, that he changed his mind and no longer wanted to be there. And he basically forced their hand. This includes Coach John Tortorella, General Manager Danny Briere, President of Hockey Operations Keith Jones, CEO Dan Hiltferty, and more.
I feel bad for Cutter when he comes to, I don't really feel bad for Cutter when he comes to Philadelphia, but
it's going to be a rough ride here.
It's going to be a rough ride here, and he earned it.
Nothing unites people like hate. And I will say, it's truly an incredible spectacle to watch everyone in the Flyers organization, fans, media, unite and say, screw this kid. A kid that they absolutely loved 2 hours ago. The other side of this is that Cutter could have been way louder about his desire to move on from the Flyers, which could have potentially diminished his trade value. He remained quiet, and Philly got an excellent return, and it seems most fans are loving Jamie. He also could have acted like nothing was wrong and played out his string in college and left for nothing, like Schultz did to us. I think one of the biggest things people miss on the Cutter Gauthier situation is that the GM who drafted him is no longer in Philly. Ask Jamie Drysdale how quickly things can change when your guy is suddenly no longer running things. Also, Jamie's guy, Bob Murray, senior advisor to the Flyers. Elliot Friedman came out and said he thought the relationship soured because he wanted to turn pro after last season at BC, but the Flyers didn't want to pay cap overages.
I heard at the end of last year, there was a conversation between Gauthier and the Flyers about joining the rest of the Flyers for the rest of this year. But at the time, they were on track for bonuses, overage for this year that was going to cost them against this year's cap. But I've heard from people that that's when things started to go sideways.
Meaning there would have been a cap hit this year due to that overage. So if this is true, they prioritized their cap this season, which was supposed to be a rebuilding year, The Flyers were not supposed to be as good as they are doing over their 5th overall pick from the prior draft. I could definitely see why he took that as a slight. The Flyers GM Briere has since come out and said that they had a contract ready for him, but Cutter wanted to go back to BC, so who knows which is true. What we do know to be true is that multiple sources, including Cutter, have come out and said his decisions did not involve Kevin Hayes.
He had zero conflict with anything that had to do with the trade.
The guy here that caused Kevin Hayes a problem?
Yes.
You?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Do you think Kevin Hayes is going to do something like that? It pisses me off that you guys throw that around and affect someone's life.
Or the fact that he did not want to play for head coach John Tortorella. And outside of those two things, we may never know the truth as to what happened. And we are not owed that truth. This trade was risky on both sides, but it could end up being great for both. Flyers fans are enamored with Drysdale so far. They are impressed with his skating and what they have seen from him so far. Some even seem shocked by his skill. Us Ducks fans know how good Jamie is. It was just a fact that he couldn't stay healthy outside of his rookie season to show it. So don't be shocked, Flyers fans. You got a stud. At the top of his game, Jamie has looked like a top pair defenseman because of his elite skating and strong puck-moving ability. And I'm happy he's getting the chance to finally show it. Not having him is definitely hurting the Ducks defense right now. The Ducks defense is noticeably worse in the game since his departure, but it's about the future. For the Ducks, they still have a cupboard full of young D prospects and add to the position they are lacking in. Elite goal-scoring depth. He may not have showcased his scoring abilities at the World Juniors this year. He did rack up assists though, winning top forward at the tournament. But at BC, he is racking up goals through a variety of different ways. Shots from everywhere. He is definitely not afraid to shoot, which is something the Ducks definitely lack outside of Frank Vetrano. Offensively, he is incredibly efficient. The puck is on his stick and off his stick in transition. But he also recognizes when he has space to start the offense by himself. He's also not scared to go to the net and protects the puck nicely when he chooses to do so. He's gritty. He causes havoc in front of the net and likes to get under the skin of his opponents, something the Ducks have missed since Corey Perry. And no, I'm not saying he will be the next Corey Perry. His game is different. He is so good defensively too, using his body well along the boards and in the corners to win puck battles and move up the ice. I'm excited for him to come and bring that gritty energy. And I know Flyers fans can't wait for his first game in Philly next year.
I made it my mission. I'm going to be here the day he comes back against Philadelphia. I'm going to be here to boo this man. I swear to God, it's my mission.
All right, you're getting the D batteries ready.
I'm ready to go.
So get that popcorn ready. This trade will work out for both teams. We won't know for a few years the results of it all, but right now it's looking like a fair trade on both sides. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and go Ducks!
Mark Scheifele and Austin Matthews.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe a little Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yeah. It's a nice mix.
Yeah. I tell everyone Mark Scheifele and Pierre-Luc Dubois, but my shot after Matthews.
Yeah. No.